Before we get to today's interview, I need to tell you about our show's sponsors. First being Bet Online. It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, Bet Online is your number one spot for all pro and college football action this year. Get all of the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL survivor pool. Open now at BetOnline. Head to their website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo, meaning make a bet on Thursday, September 9th, the season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Also, exciting news, Believe is partnering with Play Action Pools this season to bring some interactive fun to the sport that we love most. You'll be able to get in on the action with our PlayActionPools.com Football Pick'em Challenge, which is open to everyone. Sign up for our contest, Believe Football Pick'em, at PlayActionPools.com, and then get your picks in each week. We're going to select the 10 highest profile games of the week between the NFL and college football. Whoever gets the most picks correct each week will win a pair of electric sunglasses and a pair of DC shoes. Again, go to PlayActionPools.com and sign up for the contest, Believe, B-L-E-A-V, Football Pick'em. And if you plan on hosting your own football contest, go to PlayActionPools.com today. They've got Survivor, Pick'em, as well as a cool sportsbook-style concept called Build Your Bankroll. PlayActionPools.com, your new home for all of your office sports pools.
Welcome to this Believe in NFL Draft Prospect podcast. It is an interview edition. You know that it is a Thursday, so we are bringing you some inside look into some of the best draft prospects in all of college football. Joining me today, I have North Dakota offensive tackle, starting left tackle, Matt Waletzko, 6'7", 295 pounds, listed on the roster. Cancellations, obviously, for the FCS was a terrible thing to see. A lot of great football getting pushed through the spring. But the good thing was they were the only guys on TV, so they got a lot of attention. And I know that this young man has already gotten attention from Jim Nagy, the director of the Senior Bowl playing down in Mobile, Alabama. So, Matt, appreciate you, man, again, taking a little bit of time. How's everything been going for you?
Been going good. Just working hard and just keep getting after it. And, thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I want to touch on, every part of your career a little bit, but I want to go back to first. I know you're originally out of Minnesota. His hometown is listed on the roster. So I want to talk to you because I kind of did a little bit of digging into your recruiting, but I wanted to just ask you directly, what was the recruiting looking like coming out of high school, and why ultimately for you was North Dakota the best spot for you to land?
All throughout, I started in high school, actually. Started high school football as a sophomore, started playing on varsity, and was a bigger guy. So I knew I'd get attention that way and with my size. And after my sophomore year, I attended my first camp and up at NDSU, and the only one, and got some looks there. And after junior year, I decided, this is a real possibility for me. So I knew after the junior year, that's when you, really start going to these camps. So I attended a lot of different camps around Minnesota and some out of state. And then going to these camps, I got a lot of preferred walk-on offers. But when I got up to UND, they saw something else in me and gave me a scholarship offer, and I took it. And, so here I am today.
I love it, man. I love it. And obviously, when we're talking about the FCS level, you already mentioned, North Dakota State, which you attended a camp there. You're talking about UND, which you attend, South Dakota State, South Dakota. Best football in the FCS level is playing Dakotas, man. Can you just talk about the quality of football just in that region? Because I think that people obviously know the North Dakota States of the world, but for the true people that follow the FCS, the Dakotas in general are a hotbed for college football.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming from – we played in the Big Sky Conference before the Missouri Valley. We actually just switched to Valley last year, full Valley schedule. So it's just been I think just the level of physicality, even from the big sky to the valley, just takes a step up. You just see guys that are constantly training, bigger guys, and I think it just benefits not only me but our whole team. Just as you play the season, play these different teams, getting the chance to play these Dakota schools, just because the level of physicality and just the way they play football is that much higher, I believe. So I think it truly does help.
And I know when I was digging into your bio, it looked like you had started, I think, 5 games as a true freshman. So you were a guy that, immediate playing time, played in, I think, a total of 9 games. For you, what was the biggest difference between, because I know a lot of guys, obviously you want to go and play in college and you want to compete early on, you want to play a lot of football. Some guys need a redshirt season. For you, what was the big difference for you getting that immediate playing time?
Overall, I think for me it was learning the playbook, learning the scheme. That helped a lot. There were some injuries on our offensive line my freshman year. So just getting that scheme down, because it's hard as an offensive lineman coming in, learning the scheme, especially the different technique as maybe not in high school. But I had, the physical size to play, but learning the scheme was definitely the biggest jump for me. I caught on right away, and I think when those guys did get injured, I was fortunate enough to be able to step in and know the plays, and that was really a blessing for me.
Mm-hmm. And I know obviously you start every game next year, but then you get injured, and then you come back this spring, obviously, and you have a really nice season. For you over the last couple of years, you mentioned, just the familiarity with the playbook and understanding the plays and set points and all that type of stuff, I'm sure. But are there some physical development that you feel like has been a huge bonus to your development as a football player?
Oh, 100%. I actually came in. I know you see offensive linemen, they come in, they're underweight, so they put a lot of weight on, put a lot of muscle on. I was actually the opposite. I came in pretty heavy as a freshman, and I lost, not even trying to lose, I lost about 20 pounds that first fall camp we had. And I think I was still growing into my body a little bit too, so I was doing that. But yeah, that first fall camp, I lost about 20 pounds, and then it just kept I just kept developing, and more weight came off. And I actually got down to about 290, 295. And then ever since then, I've been working with the strength staff to build up like good weight on my body. And I've always maintained my strength throughout this whole thing, which is kind of funny that I lost all this weight. But I still was able to maintain my strength. And now I'm sitting about 305, which I think will be very beneficial for me. But yeah, it was kind of backwards for me almost from what your typical kind of offensive lineman goes through in college. So
yeah, no, for sure. And that's very interesting, man. I would love to ask. It's like, like you said, usually guys are skinny, maybe former tight ends, and then you put all this weight on. And we just saw Spencer Brown from Northern Iowa, right? He came in at like 220 pounds, and he got up to like 320 over like a 5-year span. So like that's the more the typical way. You go in the reverse way. How beneficial do you think that was, not only from, unlocking maybe a little bit of the athleticism that you had, taken some bad weight off, but also the flexibility aspect of playing offensive tackle?
Yeah, I think it was huge. At that weight I was at, it was just, I could just feel like my body wasn't right. My knees, my feet, everything, I could just feel it just wasn't there almost. And when I started losing this weight and started losing that, my athleticism just shot up, and it just kept going. And the more weight and the more I continued to develop it, it just kept getting better. I kept feeling better, kept getting stronger. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just crazy. You don't really see that in college football with like an old lineman, but it really did help my athleticism and just my play at tackle, because tackles, you need to be quick, you need to be It's a lot different, the guard or the inside. So overall flexibility and athleticism. So
yeah. No, and that's I mean, from the scouting perspective of everything, it's the two main things I look at offensive tackle. Obviously, there's the unteachables, right? The length, the athleticism, the physical profile, but flexibility and core strength. And you mentioned obviously, losing that, keeping that core strong, and then increasing the flexibility. It's obviously been huge for you. And I want to kind of ask a little bit about this. Obviously, we were dealing with the pandemic for a year and a half, and it seems like, at least in my neck of the woods, that things are getting in the right direction. I just walked into a store for the first time without a mask on the other day, which was like crazy, So I kind of wanted to ask about, the preparation, when you were originally, from the spring into fall practice, like, is there going to be a season? Then the season gets canceled. Like, how do you feel like the team and yourself individually was able just to navigate the negativity around the pandemic and for the ability for you guys to play in the spring?
Right. That's a great question. Because we came back, obviously, that COVID really struck in that March, and it was going through, and these summer months hit, and they got us back up on campus just to do some workouts, and masks and everything. It was all protocol, and it was different, but we really didn't know what the fall would hold. But we would prepare like we were going to play, because that's the appropriate mindset you always have to have. And I think the main thing for us was our coaches did a great job of keeping us positive and keeping us on track and keeping us as a team, because it's easy for, especially during this COVID, to get negative and to make excuses, stuff like that. And I think our coaches did a really great job of rallying our team together and creating that environment where our guys felt comfortable to be there and felt comfortable to work hard and stay positive throughout all this, really negative time period in our lives where it was very different. But yeah, it was, when it got canceled, it was, frustrating just because you saw those big schools get to play. But like you said earlier in the podcast, it was very beneficial for us because we were the only football on in the spring. So, that was a very big positive for us as a program. So just, keeping that positive mindset throughout the whole pandemic was really key for us.
Yeah, and obviously you guys did a lot of good things transitioning to the spring. 5-2 record, the big upset over South Dakota State, which played in the national championship game. You make it to the playoffs, have a big first-round victory. How fulfilling was just – because I know obviously I'm sure that the all-time the big goal is, hey, we want to win an FCS championship. We want to play in Frisco. We want to do all that type of stuff. But just the things you guys were able to accomplish with so much going against you, how fulfilling was this spring season for you?
Yeah, it was very fulfilling. Coming in, like I said earlier, this is our first season, this COVID year, entering the Missouri Valley, full slate. So there were a lot of unknowns. We weren't highly rated in the conference right away, even in the country at all. I don't think we got one top 25 vote out of anyone to begin the year. Then we started out, had that big win at home against Southern Illinois to really get us rolling. And then you see South Dakota State, just to keep the ball rolling and to keep that momentum going was huge. And I think, we turned a lot of people's heads, which was really fun because, again, we were the only people on TV football-wise. So people really started taking notice to us. And, yeah, it was really, really a special year to play, especially during all this COVID too. Yeah, it was very fulfilling. So.
And what's it like now? Because I know it's a little bit awkward, right? Like I know a lot of people have said like that's basically your spring practice, right? Is you playing football games and now you're transitioning to getting ready for the fall, quick turnaround. Like what has it just been like, the atmosphere around the team and just kind of the philosophy that the coaches have been sticking by throughout it?
It's still that same mindset that we got a season to prepare for. Yeah, we came off a spring season, which was unlike anything else ever, really. But I mean, it's a quick turnaround. Get a couple weeks off, let the body recover a little bit, and now it's back into training like you would any other summer. Which I think our team is really bought into, and they're really prepared for that. Just because we knew we were going to have 2 seasons in a year back in the spring. So I mean, our mindsets are all there now, positively. So just in the workouts now, and really in the thick of it in the summer, and then fall camp in August, and then we'll. There's no doubt we'll be ready to go for the fall season. So,
And obviously, man, I'm really excited about you because we just saw 2 outstanding tackles get selected in this past year's draft with Dylan Radins and Spencer Brown, a couple of guys in the Valley as well. And I'm excited to see that you take that next step. My question for you is a 2-parter. One, what's going to be the next step for you to not only be considered, one of the best offensive tackles in the Valley, but maybe one of the best offensive tackles just in all of college football? And I would love to hear just maybe a little perspective on you as far as watching film and trying to understand what that transition is going to look like. Maybe take a look at some NFL guys.
Yeah. So for me personally, it's just continuing to take that step and just understand what your defender will do. And that comes with film, comes with preparation, obviously, but just that overall knowledge of the game, of the defense, and I think that'll just always continue to help me to propel myself to be the best I can. And then just, I think, overall strength, and just keep working at the little things, because, I mean, to be a good prospect, get eyes on you, got to be on the field at all times, and to stay healthy, especially throughout these 2 back-to-back seasons, will be huge for me personally. So just continue to do the little things right, take care of my body, eat the right food, stuff like that. So I think that'll also be huge for me. And then what was the second part of that question?
I was just curious if there are some players, NFL-wise, that need to watch a ton. Because I know you talked a little bit about the film and being able to evaluate yourself and be able to take things from people. Like, are there some players that you like to watch?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not a guard, but Quentin Nelson, just the physicality he brings is what we kind of teach, and I think he's a great player to go off of, just because that I've tried to develop more physically, be more physically dominant as my years have went on here. And I think just watching him just small people just dominate people in the league is just so fun to watch. And I think if you can model a nasty, violent offensive like that, I mean, I think it'll only help you. So, yeah, I've really tried to incorporate some nastiness and physicality in my game especially. So, yeah.
And after the successful season that your team just had, the 5-2 and making the playoffs and doing all the great things you did in a COVID-ridden year, now moving to your final potential season for the fall, what are some things that you guys want to accomplish, both from an individual perspective for yourself, but also from a team perspective? How high is the bar set now?
Well, I think after this COVID year, just figuring out what we can really do, what we're really made of. I don't think that, as a team perspective, we got some seniors coming back just because it was that COVID year, which was very beneficial for us. But I think the sky's the limit for our team. Just going out there and just playing our brand of football, doing what we can. Just never stopping. And I think going back, like you said, this COVID year, seeing us beat like these top-rated teams, it was a shock to most people now, but now our name's out there, seeing what we can do. And like I said, I think we can do what we want to do as long as we set our mind to it, stay positive. But yeah, and then really for me, it's just like I said earlier, just stay healthy. So that'll be the biggest thing for me, staying on the field and playing all these games, playing all the snaps. So I think that's a very great goal for me for that point. But yeah.
And then the last question I had for you is, obviously some people have already pointed to you as maybe that next guy, as a draft prospect, as a guy that people need to keep an eye out for the 2022 NFL draft perspective. So last question is, how long has playing in the NFL been a dream? And to know that maybe just, less than a year from now, that might be a reality, what type of blessing would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dream, probably like most guys ever since they threw a football, put the pads on for the first time. I mean, everyone grows up watching NFL games, watching their favorite team, and just to be able to, just to think about that and have that come into reality is just honestly amazing. I could not be more grateful to, be getting this attention, be having these guys pointing me out and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the biggest blessing in the world just to have that for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a guy to definitely keep an eye out for the University of North Dakota this year, starting left tackle, Matt Waletzko. Matt, appreciate you again, man, taking a little bit of time. This was fantastic. Just getting a little of the backstory and everything, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. It was very fun.